Hi everybody, welcome to WinterTales by Stamperia. I've already filmed a flip through, which would have posted before this, and there will be a cutting guide, and I will link that down below. This is the 12 by 12. We are going to probably primarily use the 8 by 8, but I may also use the 12 by 12. I know I'm going to use some of it. I just don't know how much of each one. So let me set aside these two pieces of navy artisan cardstock from Country Craft Creations, and I have this as my base, and I have these two pieces that I set aside for to wrap my cover, because I don't have a lot of cardstock and I want to make sure I don't run out. So let me set that aside. I've already cut most of my base pieces. So this book is going to have 8 by 8 pages. The cover will be a little bit bigger. Made, as I said, from navy artisan cardstock. I do have a video about how to make these pocket pages, and I'll try to remember to link it, but if I don't, it's in my Construction Basics playlist. And you want to go ahead and make 4 8 by 8 pocket pages. So what you'll need is 4 pieces 8 by 8 and 4 pieces 8 by 9. So that alone is going to take up quite a bit of paper. So I tried to make sure that I used up the cutoff bits from that. So, you're not going to, excuse me, you're still going to have to cut some other full sheets to get your pieces, but we are going to use the cutoff bits. So cut, for the 8 by 8s, obviously going to cut an 8-inch piece. Let me grab one of these, hang on, so you can see. What am I going to do with it? I'll put it right here. Okay, so cut an 8-inch piece like that, and then of course you're going to cut an 8, and you're going to do that 4 times. Then you're going to cut another 8-inch and cut it 9. So you're going to end up with a whole bunch of pieces that are 4 inches wide by 12, and then some shorter pieces from the top. Okay. So that's how I cut those, and then again I used a few more sheets for other pieces, but that should get you going. All right, now page 1. Again, I have a cutting guide. So you're going to need your base, and you're going to need 4 pieces 8 by 4.5. And let me grab my scoring tool. There it is. All right, so you want to score these. Put the 4-inch side in your scoreboard across the top and score at 1/2 inch. And do that for all 4. And probably I mentioned in the walkthrough, I don't know for sure though, so I'll mention it again. I designed this on the idea because I love the paper so much, and I love the background sort of designs where they're whole scenes and that kind of thing. I just love them so much. I wanted to do a book where I had big areas where I could put big pieces. So that's where this came from. And it's similar, I think, to another album I made. I don't know, maybe not. I can't put my finger on which one, so maybe not. Okay. So then what we're going to do is, I'm trying to decide how I want to, all right, let me fold them first. Okay. And I'm going to cut your corners. Actually, I want to tape before I cut. Put your tape. This is score tape, 3/8 inch score tape. Okay. If you want to do that on all 4 pieces, I might as well go ahead and do them all. Sorry, I had a call come through. It's kind of weird. All right. Anyway, so what we're going to do is have 1 on each side. Hold the other one. Like that. Okay. And then we're going to have one on each of these that goes that way. I did that. I've done it on a bunch of albums. I think the last one I remember that I did it on was my Bo Bunny Boulevard album. And I really liked it, so I'll do it again. I know I've done it on others, though. I like to do that. I think I've cut my corner off a little bit. All right, so trim your corners up to, but not past the fold. I think I just went past the fold on that one. Sorry, my cat was hanging out with me earlier when I was cutting these pieces, so I have a little bit of cat fur. One down. Now you could put these together first and then put them down. I'm just going to do it this way. So you want to line that up. Looks good. My trash can handy so I can throw those out. Right, we're going to do the same on this side. Just double checking if it fit. And I think we're going to use, I know we are, I was going to say I think we're going to use magnets, but I know we're going to use magnets on these, so put these in. Please pardon my nails. I have not had a manicure in almost a year, I think. I was just about to get one when the COVID lockdown started, and I've not had one since. And I've been gardening. Where I live, it's just time with our vegetable gardens are just getting started. Is coming along. I have seedlings everywhere. Okay, so there we go. Just like that. You could stop there if you want, but of course we're not going to. We're going to do another one. And you can burnish from both sides. Just try to get that nice and crisp. And this is going to go here on top like this. Okay. Now, if you prefer, you could put it to the inside, but then you'd have to trim one edge. I like to do it on the outside for this one. I do it that way sometimes. All right, so I'm going to pick this up for a minute so I can be sure that I'm lining this up. Ignore that timer, that's my bread. Okay, there we go. All right, I'll be right back. I'm just going to go take that out of the oven. Okay. So there's that one. And let's do the other one. Oh, my house smells so good right now. When I was a kid, my mother always made our bread, and she taught me when I was single digits, probably 8 or 9. I've been making it forever. Store-bought bread is just awful. Okay, and we're going to do the same here. Take your time, try to get it lined up as best you can. I'm going to use magnets to close these, as I said, but these kind of pages look really nice held together with ribbons and things too. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, let's put in the magnets so don't forget what I do with my magnets. Hang on. I get my magnets at K&J Magnetics. I think I'm going to use, this is a pretty big page. I feel like I'm going to use 4 magnets, 2 on each side. Actually, it's going to be 8 magnets, right? It's a lot of magnets, but if you don't want to use so many, you can just put 1 and 1. But see how it's lifting a little? Now, when it's matted, it probably won't lift like that. But I don't really want to take a chance. I'm going to use all 4. I don't think I have very... I know I have some other flaps that need magnets, but it won't need this many. There. So the way this works is you're going to put 2 magnets here and here, and the other 2 are going to go here and here. So the easiest way to do it is to put the base magnets in first. And there's going to be a lot of layers in between. So these are pretty strong magnets, so we should be good. But having 2 will help. Try to decide exactly how far up I want them to be. I think right about there. Okay. Because remember, we're going to have a mat here, a mat there, a mat there, and a mat there, and a mat there, and the cardstock. It's going to be going through a lot of layers. Okay. Normally I put a little bit of another piece of tape on top, but I'm not going to. I don't want any more layers. And let's see, let's just take this piece here. That's just a scrap for now, just to help me get these placed. This back. I'm just wondering if I want these a little further out, because this might lift a little. Let's see. This is going to come off, I think, because I didn't. What do you think? No, they're holding pretty good. And they'll be the weight of the mats. I think it'll be alright. I might put these ones a little further out, though. Okay. Let's do these. Alright. Sorry if you just heard a loud noise. I think that might have come from the school. Some kind of announcement thing? I don't know. I have a school just down the block. Let's put that one right there. Okay, and a little scrap. Oh, not there. We're not going to put that there. Ah, dropped it. Okay, here. There we go. All right, and hey. This scrap to go here. Sorry, I hope you can see. How's that? This new table, well, it's not a new table, but I didn't used to record on this one. I recorded on a different one, and that one was wider. This one, front to back. I have a lot more room side to side, but front to back, it's narrower. I've always had a habit of going off camera, and now I seem to be even worse. Sorry about that. Go. All right, so there we go. Does not want to let go. Perfect. Okay, now we are going to turn over to the other side, and on the other side, first we have this piece, which is going to be a wide belly band. Let me get my, you can cut this narrow if you want, but I am leaving it wide. It is, again, this will be in the cutting guide, and this is 4, so this is one of those 4-inch bits that was left after you cut your squares. So this one's 4 by 9. Let me get rid of a couple of these. So it's 4 by 9. You're going to put the 9-inch side across the top on your scoreboard and score each end at a 1/2 inch. And I think what I'm going to do is score the first end, fold it over, good burnish, get it nice and flat. And then what I'm going to do is place it here where it's going and then measure just in case. So sometimes with belly bands you need to adjust. It looks like 1/2 inch is going to be fine. All right, so let's go ahead and score the other end at a 1/2 inch. Before I put tape on or commit, I'm just going to do another test fit. Looks good. Okay. Let's go ahead and put tape. And hang on, I just want to straighten out the end of this tape. So I was cutting at an angle. Okay. And let's do the other piece while we're at it. I don't trim the corners on belly bands. It's not necessary. All right, the other piece is 3 by 8. I am sorry about that squeaking. I have got to do something about that. I've got a handle. Hang on. That should help. This has got a, what do you call it, a keyboard drawer. And it has this hardware, like a handle to pull it down, and it's dangling and it's squeaking. I hate it. I need to replace it. Just a plain old knob. Okay. Anyway, enough with the whining. All right, so put your 3-inch side in the top and score at 1/2 inch. Just like that. And let's put our tape. This is going to be a flap, so I will trim the corners on this one. Filming this on a Monday. Normally I would be working, but I went to Disney World this past weekend and I took today off so that I could do some errands and things I had to do. I have to register my car, renew the registration, things like that. So I got all that taken care of, and so I had time to sit down and record, which I'm very happy about. So this is the belly band, and this is a flap that's going to be on top of the belly band, like so. And I think we might close this with seam binding and not a magnet. We don't have to do it right away, although it would be easier if I attached it now. I think, let me see. I'm still kind of discombobulated with where my stuff is since I moved. And I have a whole roll of white seam binding, which is what I want to use. But I don't know where it is. I think I've got some up here though. Let me see. Okay, well, I have not found any white seam binding. And I'm going to need it, so I'm going to have to order it. Alright, I can attach it after. Alright, so we want this to be centered. I'm not going to be too crazy about it, but it needs to be at about 2 inches in. Looks pretty good. Oops. Try that again. Made a mess of that. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Okay, so make sure I've got it reasonably straight. I feel like it's too high right there. Don't have my undo. I feel like there's got to be a box of craft stuff that I have not unpacked because there's stuff I just haven't found yet. That's about as good as I'm going to get it. Around for a few things. Either that or I just have to mail order them and wait until I find them. I'm still looking around, feeling like these things must be right where I can see them, but they're just not. Okay, and then this one is going to go here. Now, it doesn't really matter, but I want it on, I mean, it matters in the end that it's on the left side, but this page is pretty much reversible at this point. Put that there. And then whenever now if you have your white seam binding, go ahead and attach it to the back of this before you attach it down and make sure it's long enough to come up and around and tie in a bow on top of this. Unless you've seen the walkthrough when I changed my mind at some point and did something else, but that's the current plan. Okay. Alright, so we have a flap and a belly band. Okay. So that is page 1. Being held down by loads of magnets. And page 2, which is going to be held down by seam binding, if I can ever find it. All right, and let's go ahead with page 3 and 4. I'm going to set this one aside. Although on a happier note, when I was looking for the seam binding, I found some more navy cardstock. So that's good. All right. So this is page 3. Is that page 3? Yep. All right, so page 3 is a little bit, well, it's not convoluted, but we have a few things going on. All right, so you're going to need your base, of course, and you're going to need a piece 5.5 by 9, a piece 5.5 by 8, and a piece 4 by 6. I'll set aside my 4 by 6 for the moment. And this one. All right, so where's my scoreboard? So we've got our piece that is 5.5 by 8, and put that in your scoreboard and score it at a 1/2 inch. Put this up so you can see. Okay. And keep that handy, you're going to need it. And let's put some tape. And we are going to trim the corners. Now we have a flap, and so we have an opening on the left and right, and on the right side is where this flap is going to go. Okay, on the front of this flap is going to be a pocket. Okay, and then on the inside is going to be another piece that's going to form a pocket, a big pocket. Hang on. But I'm thinking, hang on, thinking I might want to do something. Okay, I'm going to do something. Okay, check your cutting guide. Don't go by what I just said. Hopefully I'll remember to put a note because I just changed my mind about something. I want to make this. I'm gonna make this a little narrower. So it's currently 5.5. So we're going to take a 1/2 inch off because that's going to be the lower flap. Trying to decide. I think I want it to be 3.5 finish size, or it's actually going to be 3 inches finished, so I need to cut it 3.5. So this piece that I have at 5.5 by 9 needs to be 3.5 by 9, and that should be so in the cutting guide because I haven't made the cutting guide. So let me grab my little cutter and trim this down. Trim this to 3.5. Of course, it's going to go right through my measurement. Hang on. This way. I just don't want those pencil marks to show outside my matting. Okay. 3.5. And we're going to need one more piece, which I haven't cut yet. But we will. All right, so let's set that aside. So this is 3.5 by 9. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to score this on the long side and both short sides. Okay, to make a pocket. And then what we're going to do, so it's going to go here as a pocket. Then I'm going to make a flap to close the pocket. Okay? And we may do a shape. Might do a shape on that flap. We'll see. Okay. So let's go ahead and tape up our pocket. Then, before we finish that, we might as well score this. This is also a pocket. I want to score this. Hang on. Yeah, same thing. One long side and both short sides at 1/2 inch. So we have everything except the flap. My goodness, somebody's dog is barking like crazy. I think I told you all, I moved into a townhome. And so it's all busier than where I used to live on a fairly large piece of property, but I like it. However, it's so funny because we have a, you know, like all HOAs, we have our rules. And I'm okay with that. I knew that moving in. All the rules. Anyway, one of the rules is there's a 30-pound limit for dogs. And I was a little disappointed by that because I kind of like big dogs. But it is what it is. But after being here only a couple of weeks even, and I've been here now for quite a few months, but there are some of the biggest 30-pound dogs you've ever seen in here. It's so funny. So clearly nobody's enforcing that rule, which I'm fine with. I guess it's there just in case somebody's dog causes problems. They'll have a rule, but yeah, there's definitely some quite large dogs here, which I'm fine with. I like dogs. I don't have a dog because I was taking care of my mother, who was quite frail, and the dog just was not going to work with my work schedule and taking care of her. And if a dog knocked her over or something, that would have been terrible. And the dog would not have understood why she couldn't take him for a walk, so I just didn't have a dog. So now I've been thinking maybe I'll get a dog, but of course it's COVID, so nobody's traveling, but eventually I would like to do a little traveling, and that's very hard with a dog. Cats are easier because somebody can come in and visit with them and feed them every couple of days, and that'd be fine, but although I have to say I do have, when I'm not here, which isn't very often, but when I'm not here, I have camera surveillance throughout the house, so I can keep an eye on them, make sure they're all right. just fold it over those. I think I'll do it from the front. If you score it, burnish from both sides, I think you get a little bit crisper edge. Okay, there we go. So let's start with our flap. Now, let's see. So we haven't done anything on this page, so I can put it, it's going to go on this side, which is my right. I have 2 pairs of cutter bee scissors, can't find either one. Although I have them, I've seen them since I moved, I've just somehow misplaced them. Okay, so I'm going to line this up. I'm just going to pick it up so that I can see what I'm doing. Okay. And let's get everything, get the corners lined up. There we go. All right. Then we want to put the inside pocket, which is going to go down here. When you're putting this one in, just be a little careful. You don't want to put it over that score line. You're better off if you're a hair in from that score line, like maybe a 1/16 of an inch, something like that. Give yourself a little gap so that the page can easily turn and that the pocket doesn't get in the way. So just do your test fit first, which I did not, but actually it fit okay. I just did something weird to it when I was putting it down. Okay, and I damaged that, but that'll be hidden. Okay, there's that. Now we want, before we add the pocket to the front, we want a flap here to cover, or just as a decorative closure to this pocket. So we know it needs to be 8 inches wide, or 8 inches long, and at least 3 inches wide. And I was thinking of doing like a fancy shape. The only thing is, if I do a fancy shape, how are you gonna get it? Unless I can show you how I'm doing it. Okay, let me grab grab a piece of paper, just regular paper, and I'm going to cut it. This is 8.5. Let's cut it 8 inches, just like our piece we're working with. All right, so you're going to take an 8.5 by 11 sheet, or any sheet of paper, and you're going to cut it to be 8 inches wide, same as what we're doing. I'll get this out of the way. All right, and then you're going to fold it in half. Okay, so take your 8.5, or your 8-inch piece, fold it in half. All right, so this should be 4 inches. And it is. Good. Okay. So now we could eyeball this, or we could, let's see, draw it with pencil. All right, so I'm going to go maybe like, I don't want to go right to that fold, but just inside that fold. And so it's kind of like that. So if you want to do what I am doing, you're going to have to freehand it. Unless I can figure out a way to get it to you, but, well, let's see what this looks like first. I may not even like it. And then I'm going to cut approximately on the line that I just drew, like that. And that would give me a shape like that. Do we like that? Or would we rather have it go this way? Just thinking, because if I do this, I think it'll work. I'm going to have to show you how to make them match as well. And you could make this go to a full point if you want. I'm just trying to decide if I want to do that. Cardstock's pretty tough. The reason I didn't is because I didn't want to, I didn't want a point that might get damaged too easily, but I think I don't like it so stubby. So I'm going to cut it again. Okay. Let's see how that looks. That looks good. Okay. So that's going to be the shape. And we want it to be, I kind of like just about where it's at. That's 3.5. Plus we're going to need our 1/2-inch tab. So we need a piece 4 by 8. So let's cut that now that we have our shape. And again, if you don't want to be fussed with this shape, then, you know, by all means, just make it straight. All right, so let's get that. And actually, you know what do I have? I might have one of the 4-inch scraps left, but I think I used them all. Let me just double check. If you have one of those, use it. Oh, I might. Hang on. I do. Okay, so I don't need to cut into the whole sheet. I'll use one of our 4-inch scraps. Piece 4 by 8. And then we are going to, hang on, we're going to cut this piece 4 inches from here. All right. And this cutter is kind of difficult at the 4-inch mark, but I think that's it. Actually, 3.5 is where I really need to be, because although it doesn't really matter. Okay. Just trying to decide. Yeah, let me cut a 1/2 inch off of this, because we don't need the fold on this template. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is score the tab for the flap. Put the short side, this out of the way. Oops, sorry, I hit my light. Okay, and score it a 1/2 inch. There we go. And I'm going to turn it over so we have the bump. And we're going to lay our template down. Pardon my head if it's getting in the frame. All right. pick this up, make sure I've got it where I want it. Looks good. You could tape this if you want. I'm just gonna take, oops, take my pencil. And draw the curve. If I get a chance, I'll try to draw an approximation of this and include it in the cutting guide. I just don't know if I'll get a chance. So if I don't, I want you to see how to do it. Then, in order to make the mats, what we're going to do, and again, I'll try to do this in the cutting guide. I just can't guarantee that I will, is draw a line about 1/16 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch. I think 1/16 is, I mean an 1/8, 1/16 I think. I don't know, a small amount inside all the way around, cut it again, and that would be the mat. So that's how we do the mat. You'll see when we get to the matting. But also check the cutting guide, because if I have a chance, I'll give you a template for this. I know some people are not going to want to draw that. All right. So this is our flap. Okay, and that goes, and that is going to go, I think I'm going to put it here. You could put it on the outside and fold it over, which kind of, maybe I should, because it does give a neater edge to that flap. Gives a lot of bulk though. Gives a neater edge, but it gives a lot of bulk. I like the neater edge though, so that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, so in this case, we're not putting the tape here. We're going to put the tape on the inside of the flap. Let me get rid of some of these, because if one of my cats shows up, they'll go bananas for those. Trim and trim. Okay. Okay. And let's give this a really good burnish so that it's nice and wet. Okay, so this is going to go like that on the outside of that, and then fold over like that, okay? Actually, I think I'm going to try to figure out the easiest way to get this lined up. Be like that. Remember, be careful not to go over your score mark, or you won't be able to fold your flap. Okay, that's good. Be careful, don't want to bend anything. Okay, there's that. And of course, this is going to be hidden when we mat the outside. Okay, so there's that. So we have a flap, we have a pocket, And we definitely want to use a magnet to hold this because it goes like this, right? And we don't want all the bulk of a ribbon. So I think what we're going to need here is a magnet here to hold the flap closed, and then a matching one here to hold the whole assembly closed, if that makes sense. So let's do that. I've got one of those metal rolling carts just off camera here, and I keep my magnet stuck to the outside of it if you hear me spinning things around. So I am wow, see how strong those magnets are? I'm going to need 3 of them. Okay. All right. So we're going to have one here. Let's put that one down first. Gonna go there. Center it a little better. Right there. Okay. So that one's gonna go there. Let me grab a scrap here. And then this one is gonna go under that pocket. So that's gonna be a little tricky. I probably should have done that one first. Let's see exactly where it's gonna end up. Yep. Right where I thought it was going to end up. So what I'm going to do is give myself an idea where it's going and make myself a mark. Okay. So did you see what I just did? I sort of held it down and lifted this up so I could see where it was and made a pencil mark. It's going right inside that pocket. And then I'm just gonna lift the pocket up. I gotta be able to see my pencil mark, which I can't. And I'm gonna turn it so that I keep making a shadow with my hand so I can't see it. There we go, that should be right there. Okay. Yep, okay. Then I need one here. So that's gonna be this one. That's going to go there. All right, so let me do that. Put that there. That. Okay, and this one I am going to put a little piece of tape over, and I think I'll put a piece of tape over that one that's in the pocket to smooth any sort of bumpiness that it's going to have. Just a lengthwise piece like this, so as things slide into the pocket, they don't run into a bump. And you can use plain tape. You don't have to use your score tape for that. Okay, so that's going to go like that. I'm just going to leave that in as to hold that. Now we have one last piece, and that's a pocket that's going to go on the outside of this flap. Right, like that. Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure that was a test fit, but I want to make sure it's, yep, good. And we're going to put that at the bottom. Line up our outside edge. Looks good. There we go. Now we have our flap with 2 pockets and another flap. And we managed to do all that and still leave ourselves this great big area to mat and play with. All right, that is page 3. Page 4. I don't see any pieces for page 4. Are these them here? Hang on. All right, hang on. I'm still trying to find my pieces. Here they are. Page 4, right? Yes. Okay. So for page 4, you need 4 pieces, 4 by 8. And again, you're going to cut these from your leftovers from cutting your bases. Sorry, just had to have a drink of water. All right, this is a super easy page. And watch, now I'll mess it up now that I told you that. All right, so set this aside for now. You want to take all 4 of these and put the long side across the top and score at 1/2 inch. And we're going to score. First we're going to put our tape. Tape's crooked. Go ahead and fold all these over. And actually we want to trim the corners too, so maybe we should do that first. I'm going to have to get online and order some of that seam binding. I could guarantee that I find my missing one, but at least I'll have it. Okay, so this is the one we just did. Your flap is on the right, your right. So you want to turn it this way to make, well, I guess it's not that urgent, but okay, so this is the top. And if you ever feel like you're losing track, because you're going to mat anyway, so top, spine. In this particular one, it doesn't matter that much, but if you ever want to be sure. So you're going to take the first one, and you are going to lay it on the top left corner, just like that. Okay. And you're going to take the next one, and you're going to, so like here's your top left. So this one's going to go here. Excuse me, got a tickle. Let me get some water. Okay, so this one's going to go here. Now, what I would do with this one, well, what I will do with this one, and all the following ones, I'm not going to put it right on the edge. I'm just going to bring it in a hair, maybe a 1/16 of an inch. You know, because it's going to actually go inside here, and I don't want it to interfere with this one. Okay? And you can fold that one out of the way if you want, or you can just leave it. And you can put these in whatever direction you want. You know, this one could be on top if you want. But I'm going to put this one down, line it up with the top, but in just a hair. And there's that one. Okay. And then we're going to do the same. This one is going to go down here. Like this. Right. Whoops, I didn't put any tape on this one. Did I put it on the wrong side? I put it on the wrong side. Well, that's all right. I'll just turn my score. There we go. So this one's going to go here and in just a tiny bit for the same reason. It a little bit to make it so I can see it easier. Oops. That sounds like it might be Federal Express truck that I'm expecting. Maybe. There we go. Let me just take a quick look out the window and see. All right, so that's 3. And we can put them however we want. That. Okay, and let's put this one here. Okay. And again, just turn it so it's in the light. So what's up, Jolly? that. All right. So let's see if we do that one, that one, that one, and that one. There we go. Just like that. And I haven't decided how I'm going to close these. Really, all you need is one magnet right here to keep the whole thing closed. And that may be what we do. Or we may do something external that's held down with magnets that you lift off. Wouldn't hurt to have one just in case. Do I want to just go ahead and do it? Because you could still do the other, you know, the other thing. Oh my goodness, so loud. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the magnets. Okay. So we are going to have one magnet right up here. Okay, well, she's leaving. I guess she's just calling out to check on us. Okay, put that right there. Looks good. Right, and where that's going to go, I'm just wondering if I want it on the outside of this to save on bulk a little bit. I'm not going to have that many mats in between. I'm going to go ahead and put it there. All right, so for the other one, I'll do with my other magnet. There it is. Sorry, I've got all these flaps. Okay. That there. Okay. Oops, did I put my adhesive on the wrong side? I think I did. Because it is not sticking. Hang on. There. Oh, I was just in the wrong place. Okay, there we go. And let's just slide that up. Put that down. There we go. And put another little piece of tape. Okay, now, 4. All right, cool. That's our little scrap. All right, so that's page 3 and page 4. Set those aside. Now, page 5. Page 5 we can't do until we mat. Page 6 we can do, though. Okay, so hang on. I have my pieces down here by my side. So that's page 5 we can't do. So I need page 6. Page 6. Page 6. Page 6. I just want to make sure I don't get page 7 mixed up with page 6. That's page 7. Okay, page 6. All right, so for page 6, I'm just double checking my notes. All right, I have 4 by 9, and then we have 8, 4 by 8, and then we have 4 by 8, and 4 by 8. Okay, so we have 3 4 by 8 and 1 4 by 9. And I'm just double checking what I intended to do with these pieces. All right, so this one here. Okay, so this is a pocket. I'm gonna turn it, get it sideways. This is a pocket here. All right, where are my flaps? Upper flap. Okay, so that's one of my flaps. Lower flap. and my upper flap. Okay. All right, so we have two flaps that go up like this. Okay, and then we have one flap down here that is also a pocket so that whatever you put in it can hold this closed. Make sense? I hope it makes sense. Okay, you'll see. Made sense when I thought of it. Hopefully it'll make sense when we put it together. All right, long edge across the top with your upper flap pieces. And score a short end at a 1/2 inch. Put those in first. Honestly, because I can't remember what I intended to do with that pocket. I need to think about that while I'm doing this. Go. And scissors, this out of the way. And there we go. So that's page 6. So these just go, like here's an opening and here's an opening. And these are going to go side by side at the top. Like that. Okay. And I'm just checking for fit. Because these are basically going to butt right up against each other. And I'm wondering if I want to take a hair off of one of them just so that there's a little bit of room. That's fine. Okay. And we're going to do this one. Perfect. There's a little bit of a gap, and that's just what I wanted. Hang on. I feel like this one did not go down straight, but it looks straight. I wish I had my undo. Now look, you see that? They're not exactly the same length. So what I may do is stick those in my trimmer later before I mat and get those even. Okay, now this is a pocket. And what I believe I intended, and I'm sure that's what it was, is this is actually a flap that goes this way, and we're putting a pocket on top of it. So let's do the flap. So you're going to put the short edge across the top and score it a 1/2 inch. Okay. And then you're going to take the 9-inch one and score it along the long edge and both short edges to make a pocket. Go. And there we go. do this one as well. Again, be careful not to stretch your tape on these long ones. With green, I have little pieces of green. Trim the corners. This is our flap right here, okay? And then this is going to be on top of it as a pocket. And I'm just checking it for fit, and it looks like it fits pretty good. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this down first. Over and line this up. I don't know why I'm trying to line this up on the table where I can't see it at all. Let me pick it up. I know that takes it out of camera range. I'm sorry, but I can't see otherwise. I am extremely sight impaired. We go. Now, this one is going to go at the bottom, so you need to lift these out of the way so you don't accidentally glue them down. I wouldn't put it past me to do that. And this is going here. Okay? I'm just gonna go hog wild and take all the tape off at once. So these will go down like this. This will go like this. And it's actually going to be held by a magnet. So this alone would hold down these, but we'll also put stuff in the pocket. So it kind of looks like what's ever in here is holding these down, even though it's really a magnet. And let's see, how many magnets do we want to use? I'm going to have to order magnets too. This thing is eating up magnets. Okay, let's see. Well, did you see that? Smash the magnet in half. You gotta be really careful with these. If they go loose like that and slam against each other, they'll break. Let me throw that one away. Because they have sharp edges too when they do that. Okay. Alright, I think one magnet right in the middle will be fine because I am going to have other, things coming up. Or do I want two so that the corners don't lift? All right, right, I'm gonna do 2. That means I need 4 magnets. I'm sorry I'm using so many magnets on this. If I remember, I'll post a link to where I get mine. They're pretty reasonable, actually. They're not the cheapest thing in the world, but they're not bad either. I generally buy about 40 at a time, 40 or 50 at a time. Probably should buy 100, but okay. I'm going to put these, as you can see, sort of up towards the corner, but there's plenty of room for the mat. You don't want to put them too close to the edge or your mat will have a bump. Well, these are pretty thin magnets, but move that back a little bit. There we go. Okay, and let me grab a long scrap. Here. One there, okay. This book has a lot of flaps, mostly because I did, like I said, want to leave big areas for matting, and flaps are better for that than pockets. Although we have plenty of pockets too. Go. Get these up out of the way. Go. Just like that. A little tape down to secure those. There we go. And for now, we'll just put that in there. Actually, we don't need that in there because we're going to have these. There. All right, that is page 6, and this was 5. So this is going to have our window that we can't do until we mat, and that's 6. So that's one more done. What time is it? Okay, I got time. Because 8 doesn't have anything on it yet. We just have the one more page to do, which is 7. 7 is super easy. We are just going to put a vertical pocket right there. And 8 doesn't have anything on it because I always like to leave one page with nothing at the beginning to give me a chance to see what I feel like the album needs when I get to the end. So 2 short edges, 1 long edge, scored at 1/2 inch, which you can see. Whoops. Well, you may be able to see, but I can't. Okay. Right, and I'm going to trim off my corners. Okay. One thing I've done recently in a few albums, I think I did it in my last Stamperia album, which I think was Forest. Wow, it's been a while if that's the case. I've got it right up there. I've done sort of scrapbooky type pages where like the page just has a photo layout and no other elements. And I may do that on page 8 of this album. We'll see. I like the way that worked. Especially because my albums, as a general rule, don't have a lot of space for photos. This one will, though. A lot of these flaps will hold photos very well. Okay. Let's see. I feel like is it a hair big? Hang on. No, seems like it's all right. How long have we been going here? Checking my time. Oh, not too bad. Just a little over an hour and a half. Okay. Just going to put it in just a little tiny bit from the edge, just so it doesn't cause any problems with the hinge. Okay, I didn't put that on particularly straight, but that's okay. We can burnish it into place. If I had undo, I might take it out. No, that's fine. Okay, and then 8, we're going to figure out what to do when we get to it. So we have 5 that we can't do until we get to the matting, which we're about at. And we have 8 that we haven't decided what we're going to do yet. So let me bring these back over. So that is 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. All right. So we have essentially finished with what we can do at this point, all of our page bases. So let's just call it done. And next time we will mat, and I will try and have mats sort of pre-chosen and cut so that it doesn't take too terribly long, so you don't have to sit through a 10-part project. I'm getting a little better at making them shorter, but not short. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them down below. I'll have a link to the cutting guide down below, and I've got a magnet that's causing an issue right there. I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.